Felicity from GetYourRockOut, and I'm talking to Mark from New City Kings. How are you doing today?
I'm not bad. The sun's shining and I'm in the studio, so it doesn't get much better than that.
Very nice. I'm also rather jealous that you've got sunshine, I must admit.
Let's not do that.
Good. Well, that's good, even if you are in the studio and you can't really see it.
Well, I'll take a little 15-minute break every now and again to get a bit of vitamin D in my skin.
So brilliant. So, I mean, as you said, you're currently in the studio at the moment, and I'm pretty sure that you're very near the end of finishing a new EP. How's it going?
It's a strange one because we finished an EP a couple of weeks ago, literally before we went out on our first headline tour, which I'm in the middle of now. I'm about to play Brighton on Wednesday, London on Friday. And then we've got Download coming straight up as well. So we've done that. Now we're actually working on the next one. And we're kind of trying not to put ourselves up, but we're working about 4 months in advance at the moment and trying our best to keep it motoring. So it's just full on at the moment in our camp. It really is just crazy busy.
I mean, I think actually people would say that you may be a little bit mad going straight into 2 EPs recording with and the UK headline tour and Download the week after that.
Yeah, I mean, our plan of action is, because we're a completely independent band, so we're not really at the beck and call of any management or label at the moment. So what we're trying to do is take advantage of that and get as much done as quickly as we can, because definitely the way the music industry is changing now, I think people are wanting more music more frequently, and that's one thing we definitely want to give to our fans and to sort of make new fans by just constantly releasing material as opposed to doing the whole, one album every 2 years. So we are just killing it, but we're loving it as well. So it's just a really good time for the band, and we're all really excited to release some stuff soon and just release more stuff straight after that.
Brilliant. And so, I mean, what kind of release schedule are we looking at for the EPs?
At the moment, we've just confirmed some press with Rocktown in August, so we're going to be giving out an EP for free for all of the Rocktown readers, and that goes out on August 13th, and that's going to be one of the CD giveaways in the front cover. And then I think as soon as that's done, we're going to be releasing another EP in September, because we're going to do our first European headline tour and our second UK and Ireland headline tour in October. So that's kind of what we're looking at the moment.
That's fantastic. And I mean, there has been a fair few kind of bands that have been doing this whole EP route lately. I mean, I know that Skid Row, for one, have started doing that.
Yeah, to be honest, I recommend it to everyone. I mean, what we're seeing with the industry changing now is you're not getting those massive budgets for albums anymore. You're not getting the big tour support stuff. So for new bands, when you're trying to break into a market, I think now it's all about consistently good products being released as frequently as you can. You've only got to look to the massive pop artists. I mean, it's a terrible example when we're talking about Download, but you start looking at the Rihannas and people of this world who are just putting out singles almost monthly.
Yeah.
And it's for a reason, because you need to keep everyone engaged. And for us, we're definitely seeing a lot of engagement on our end, and it's great to constantly be giving people something new all the time. I think it's really important now.
Brilliant. I mean, it's really good to hear that it's working so well for you. I mean, I think that people have got really short attention spans as well. There are so many bands out there that you need to be. Well,
I mean, like we were saying before about just how full on it is at the moment, it's because we're preparing for the months in advance, just so we can make sure that we're constantly giving stuff that people are going to engage in, and we're not going to have those lulls of a few months or a year where a band just goes into the studio and writes. That's why we have to do it in conjunction with touring and in conjunction with everything else that bands have to do when they're independent. So yeah, but again, we love it. It's great.
Brilliant. And you're obviously no strangers to hard work, and that's I think it's something that's going to pay off hugely. There are so many bands out there that don't really do much and that kind of think, we'll tour again in a year's time. We might bring a record out at some point soon.
Yeah.
I think it's really refreshing to see a band.
Well, thank you, first of all. And secondly, I think to other bands out there and people listening, I really think it's a burden of labels and management. And in a lot of cases, artists have got a really fantastic team and it works really well. But in our experience, we've been in those shoes before where, you're not necessarily connecting with the management, or the label has got different ideas of what you want to do. Yeah. And that can genuinely hold bands back, even if they've got that work ethic and they want to really be getting out there. It's really difficult. So I totally know what you mean. It's an interesting sort of space that the industry's in right now.
It is, it is. I mean, you guys, you are obviously hugely independent. I mean, would anything kind of discourage you to go that route? Would anything make you change your mind and think, actually, we want to go the kind of standard record label way? Are you holding out for a fantastic label to do that with, or are you thinking at the moment?
I I have absolutely nothing against labels management, because obviously they're the guys who really know how to implement the bigger strategies. I just think, firstly, there's a lot of development artists can do on their own beforehand, and to be honest, where we're at now, we're so dynamic, we can do things very quickly, very easily, we've got a tight-knit team, and until you come across those people that can expand on a massive scale, yet still keep that dynamic, quick-thinking, and easily adaptable sort of being, it's never going to connect. So we would definitely be looking at labels later down the line, but for now, I think we've definitely got a lot of hard work ahead before we're ready to sort of make that make sense.
Fantastic. And I mean, obviously, you are completely independent, and you've got a slot at download this year, which is, I mean, you must be so excited.
We're very excited, and because our first one came through when we got an offer to play Festival last year, which was an out of the blue one. Really? And this year, I think the guy who runs it, Andy Copping, I think he heard about the band and just gave us an offer. And for us, our missing puzzle piece is a booking agent. We don't have one. We do everything independently, and so to have someone like Andy get in touch and offer us a slot is really feels a bit like winning the lottery, and I hope it's the sign of things to come.
Yeah, I can well imagine. I mean, are the nerves starting to kick in now, or are you basically just completely excited?
No, what overtakes the nerves is the fact that everyone on our team has been working their asses off for a long time now, so we're starting to see everything come together, and I think it's more of a relief that everything's starting to pay off with the amount of blood, sweat, tears and money that's gone into it. I think everyone's just really happy that it's that the New City Kings are starting to reach out nationally, so it's a good time for us.
That's really, really good to hear. And for people listening to this who are going to download, they're kind of debating who they should be seeing and when, why should they see you?
I reckon that it's going to be a really early time for us. It's the first time we're going to be doing like an acoustic set. It's going to be quite an intimate show, and we're going to be around for some beers afterwards. And you can't say no to a few beers after a little show. So they should definitely come down. And to everyone else listening as well, you just got to get your money's worth, haven't you? Get up, check out new bands, see what's going on, and we'll be out doing the same thing.
Fantastic. And your brother's in the band as well. How does that work?
Well, it's a strange one, because not many people know, he's also the ex-guitarist in Me. I don't know if you remember those guys.
Oh, you know what? In Me were one of I think actually they were the first proper rock gig I ever saw.
Yeah. So that's an interesting one. So he sort of jumped out of them when everything, for us, when he decided he wanted to sort of do our own project properly. But we argue a lot, naturally, because we're brothers, but aside from that, it's definitely a reason why you get a bit more sort of fire in the room when it comes into the studio, like a few more arguments that can turn out to be sometimes beneficial. So yeah, it's a weird one having a brother in a band, but also you get that sort of weird chemistry that comes out, half of being a really good team and half of having very different ideas about stuff, and those arguments sometimes they make something pretty special, so it's a good way.
Well, that's a very honest answer, thank you. It's not like, oh yeah, we get on great, we never argue.
Brothers, I think any brothers out there, you know the game. You just, you gotta have a bit of a bitch at each other now and again.
Completely. There's a fantastic prog band who I love called the Van Hertzen Brothers, and there are 3 brothers in that band, and I genuinely don't know how they managed to last like 10 years.
Wow.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
Well, I suppose the thing about me and Ben is we are often not 6 foot away from each other for months at a time because we're touring, we're in the studio.
Yeah.
It's like we do have to have a compromise really and just get along with each other, because we're very, very different people, but it works somehow.
Fantastic. And I mean, you guys, you seem to have a huge amount of plans in place. You seem to really, really know what you're doing. So give us a brief rundown of the next 6 months and where people can catch you and what you're going to be doing.
Well, I suppose it's good to hear that you think we've got our plans together, but there's no rules in this industry, so all we can do is hope that we're doing something right. But the next 6 months, we're going to have 2 EPs coming out. doing our first European tour, our first UK and Ireland tour. I think we're going out to America for the first time to sort of try and get things moving over there. So people are going to have a chance to catch us live. We do the acoustic set a download, but our proper live shows will be going on in September and October. So just newcitykings.co.uk, all the info's there, and just check it out at your leisure.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to have a chat. This has been an absolute pleasure. And yeah, I'm sure that we're going to see you at Download.
Anytime. Nice one, City. All right.